This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 on this Wednesday morning, Ready to Rock and Roll. We are on the doorstep of the opening week for the big schools in North Dakota. Game of the week, you'll see it Friday night. Devils Lake and Kindred in 2A football. That game actually played at West Fargo Horace, which we'll get to in a minute. Looking forward to that on our first down Friday of the season. Firebirds and the Vikings, 7 o'clock on Friday. And it seems fitting we've got the head coach of the Vikings with making his debut on Hot Mike. He's been the head coach 3 years, having him on. That's shame on me. So I appreciate, Eric Burgad, you texted me back and wanted to do it. It's great to see you. Thanks so much for the time. The theme of the offseason has been teams moving. You're moving as well. The excitement level for 2A football. I know you've been on staff for a while. Tell me about that in Kindred, about now moving up to the second level.
Something we're really excited for. It's you don't really know what it's going to feel like till you get into it. Playing in Region 1 and Single A for a long time, like you become very familiar with your opponent and very familiar with the other teams, and you kind of know their traditions and their tendencies and how they're going to react in certain situations. But now with these new schools, you have no idea. So trying to familiarize ourselves with our opponents the best we can. That was a lot of what I did over the summer, is just watching YouTube and watching old games and trying to learn personnel and different offensive and defensive systems. So that's all new. I think playing at different locations is going to feel very new for us. Like our kids haven't played at Cushman. We get to go out there and do that twice. But I also think that's going to feel different for other schools. Like South comes here, and I think that'll feel very different for Fargo South. So a lot of new, a lot of excitement, and we look forward to the challenge.
I was going to ask you about having a Fargo school come to your place. You guys got to be jazzed for that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. Like I said, I think it'll feel more different for them.
Yeah.
Like we got 2 gas stations, a cafe, and no stoplights. So, but the town does shut down on Friday nights, and it's a big scene at the football game. So,
well, you're not a small town anymore when you've got the amount of Division I talent running, and I want to talk about that in a second. But the excitement level for this year, obviously, of the disappointment of how last year ended. It's a new team, but how much do you use that at all, or is that's the 24 team? We're not going to talk about that.
We don't talk about it a ton, but I know for myself and our coaching staff, and I think our players too, it just provides a lot of internal motivation. It's not something that you got to go back and reflect on a lot with the team, because, like you said, it's a new team, and some guys didn't experience playing in that game. So it's not something you want to harp on constantly, but when you lose the final game of the year the way we did on that stage, that takes a long time to get over. It keeps you up at night. You wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it. So, new team, same standards, same goals, but knowing that didn't quite answer the bell last year, and really hungry group coming into this season.
Have you gone back and watched it or no?
Yeah, like a million times.
How tough is that to go back and watch it again from last year's Dakota Bowl?
It's not that hard to swallow, because I know our kids laid it out on the line. Like it would feel much different if you feel like you totally underperformed and kids did things that were uncharacteristic, or if the effort wasn't there, something like that. But that all was there, and I know the game, we put on a great show for the state. I think it was a
No doubt.
really entertaining ball game. So, we ask a lot of our kids, demand a lot of effort, a lot of time, before school, after school. So if your kids can reach you there and they're motivated to play and they're doing those things, then that makes it a little easier.
I know you were visiting earlier about how the town shuts down. I know how well-versed they are in football. They know what's happening this year? Is that something you've had to explain? Like, okay, we're playing some different opponents, or are they well-versed on what's going on with the Vikings this fall?
Oh, yeah, no, they know. And, after we ended that Dakota Bowl last year, having individual meetings with all our players to get ready for the next season, and made a point of it to ask all of them, just their thoughts, how they feel, and didn't get much back. They didn't really care. They knew what was coming, and people talk about it, and the lead up to it, you kind of felt like we were going to be in that 2A division. So The knowing that we don't have any true rivalries other than Castleton, we're really excited to be moving with them and to not lose that
Yeah.
game. But I think they're just curious and hungry to go play some different opponents.
When you have the kind of success you've had, does that get more kids to come out? Is that something that draws more to say, hey, you want to be part of that? Have you noticed that or not as much?
It's hard to say right now. Just with the recent success we've had, sometimes I think it makes a difference, but it's all about the product that you're putting out there and the experience that the kids are getting. I think, just through word of mouth within the high school, if kids are having a good time at practice, they're enjoying the process of being on the football team. I think that is kind of what draws other kids to come out. It's the relationships with each other. It's the relationships they form with the coaches that make it intriguing, versus the wins and losses.
We have to talk. We've featured it on our show all summer long. It seems like there's a different day, especially it was late May, early June, that one of your players was getting offered by Michigan or Minnesota or Nebraska. What has this been like as head coach to see this happening with two of your players that you still have for 2 more years?
It's a lot of fun. There's a ton of excitement with it. It's busy. I
I
know it
bet.
feels really busy for Luke and for Brooks, and throughout the school year, depending on what period we're in, whether the coaches can contact them or not. Like for me, it gets busy too. I kind of serve as their secretary because the coach will always go through me and try to set up a time to come to the school, and then so I'm coordinating with Brooks and Luke. I don't want them to miss the same class all the time, pulling them out of class to meet these coaches, but ultimately really fun. It grew my relationship with both of those players. And then I just get to meet a lot of fun people too. So it's been a fun journey. We're in the thick of it right now.
All right, so explain your end of this. Who are you talking to? Is it like their director of recruiting, or is it the actual head football when they're setting up to come? Who are you talking to?
Typically a position coach.
Okay.
For Brooks, it's always the tight end coach that's reaching out to me. For Luke, it's either the O-line coach or the D-line coach. And then sometimes it's those guys coming, sometimes it's one of their assistants. So yeah, it really just varies by team.
So I know we talked about this with your old boss, with Matt Crane, when Riley Sunram was going through this, and you experienced that as well, being an assistant of Big Ten coaches, then coming to Kindred. Now it's old. I can't say it's old hat, but it is. How much did Riley lay the groundwork for now? Hey, we got to go look at this school because they've got some guys that can play.
Yeah, I remember the first time we had a coach come to the school for Riley, and it was the Gophers, and they were bringing their defensive coordinator, and head coach was coming along too. Coach Fleck was coming,
Yeah.
so I remember I was working at the elementary school at the time, and Coach Crane called me like, "Hey, Coach Fleck's going to be in the school. You should probably get over, try to meet him. Just be a really cool experience." So, yeah, it's been fun. You get those big name coaches that come through here, and it's interesting. Like if Coach Hedberg would come through our school, everybody knows who he is. But when you get an Iowa State coach maybe come through, people don't know who he is.
Yeah.
So it's fun for me, but everybody else probably doesn't know who he is.
We had him on the show the other day. You're going to inflate his ego even more now that you just say that about Hedberg. So, we've had Brooks and Luke each on the show. I want to start first with Brooks because we had him on after he hit the state championship winning shot in basketball, and I asked him if he had made up his mind between basketball or football, and then obviously everything's happened. Why have things in your mind blown up for him on the football side that he's getting Michigan, he's getting Minnesota, he's getting Nebraska that want him to come play football at that school?
There's a lot of things that contribute to that. One, I think it's just his size, like his frame, his 6'5", his arms hang to his knees. He's got the build to turn into a D1 tight end, and then the basketball relates really well too. I think what coaches see just like throughout the basketball season is a kid who is incredibly quick and fast, but then the body control that he has. Like I've never seen a kid, do a two-hand 360 dunk in game. And so and neither have most of these college coaches. So when they're texting me, calling me, and asking about him, I said, well, look at his Twitter page. Did you see that dunk from last week? And then it really picks up.
Yeah.
So I think his Twitter helps him a lot, or his X, excuse me.
For Luke Starcevic, was his older brother now going to play at Army this year, and I hearing about Luke. Gosh, a couple of years ago, I think NDSU was the first to offer him, or close to that, or Iowa State was when Tyler Roll was there on getting involved. What makes him stand out that coaches are fawning over each other? Like, we got to get this guy.
Similar to Brooks, first just his size, like 6'5". Again, he's weighing in at 250, 260 right now. But then he moves so stinking well for his size. Like he runs around like he's 6 foot 180. Just great body control, tremendously athletic. And then he's got a side of nasty to him that is unmatched. Like he plays so hard, plays so physical, and I think that's a really tough thing to teach. And I've had other college coaches tell me like that is the number one thing we see when we turn on his film is how hard he plays, how physical he is.
Eric, with that kind of talent, everyone's going to say, well, how it's going to be, you guys better win. You better win every game by 2 touchdowns. If you got two, maybe Big Ten players going with you, how do you address that? I know it's not just that, but hey, we've got a lot of expectations on our shoulders this fall.
Yeah, we don't talk about it as a full team, but I do joke about it with Brooks and Luke. I'm just saying, hey, as much as they're putting in the media right now, we better go put on a show this fall. We can't lay a dud. Yeah, so not something we address the full team about, but it's just kind of a joke. We have expectations. We know what to expect from
I
our
was going to
kids.
say, knowing full well you're Kindred. You got the bullseye on, and now especially you're moving up. You feel that that's coming with it this upcoming fall.
Yeah, probably. But it's not anything that you can control either. Just a lot of the message to the team right now is just living in the moment, living day by day. If we want to be ready to play those bigger schools and have those tough matchups, there's certain things that got to get done to be ready to play in those big games. So it's, constant focus on, just the day. There's certain things that have to happen on a Tuesday for us to perform on a Friday. Same thing on Wednesday and Thursday. So that's where we try to keep the focus.
A couple minutes left here with Eric before we let him go. You mentioned going up with Castleton. How big a deal was that to say, okay, we're not jumping in alone, they're going with us?
Yeah, huge deal. And I mean, mainly just because it's a rivalry game.
Yeah.
Like that, we look forward to that one every year as I'm sure they do. And it always brings a great crowd, always brings great energy. Each team plays their best when we're in that matchup. So when you have strong tradition and rivalry like that, you never want to lose it. So just so excited to be playing with them still.
Well, and also it's the last game. I told Travis Lamar when he was on with us about a month ago, can we make that permanent? That's the final game every year of the season? Can we do that?
I don't know that I'm into that one. They always seem to be playing so much better at the end of the year. So
You're
I'd
not
rather have
signing on
them
board with
early.
that?
Yeah, I'd rather have them early in the schedule. But no, whenever we get them, we're fine with as long as we get them.
Last thing, you had some hiccup here with the home field that you're actually. So the game on Friday, you're going to be playing at West Fargo Horace. What's happened here?
Yeah, so we're for the last several years experiencing some issues with our track. We got such a beautiful stadium facility over there, but the track itself wasn't in great condition, and we had to forfeit our opportunity to host a couple regional track meets, which is a big deal. We want to be able to have those things and just have a nice track for our kids. We got a really strong track program, so started fresh on that this summer. They started tearing it up this spring. And that's just how it goes with construction sometimes to be able to tear out a new track, put a new one in, and then try to play game one. It's just a challenge. So what we're experiencing right now is playing surface itself, no harm to it, but it's the sidelines.
Okay.
So, from end zone to end zone on visitor home sideline, it's still black dirt, trying to grow grass there now, and we'll see how it all shakes out. I don't want to farm out all our home games.
No.
Seniors deserve to play some home ones, but it's the situation we're in right now.
It's great to catch up. Thanks so much for doing this. I promise I wasn't trying to not have you on. I'm just glad we were finally able to do this. Good luck on Friday. We'll talk during the season, okay?
Yeah, sounds good, Dom. Thanks for having me.
Eric Burgad, head coach of the Kindred Vikings. You'll see them on Friday night as they take on Devils Lake. The game will be available right here on WDAY Extra, 7 o'clock. Again, the game will be played, though, at West Fargo Horace, as you heard Coach Burgad say that their track tore up here, so they're hopeful in a few weeks' time that they can be back, which is one of the great home environments there. Kindred's one of my favorite stops to go to. One of our first game of the weeks we did, and we brought the big truck out there. They played Edgeley, Ellendale. It was EKM. That was a race to get back for First Down Friday. That wasn't fun that night, but we had a great turnout that night, and looking forward to being back at Kindred when they're ready to go. Brooks Bacco and Luke Starcevic are worth the price of admission, folks. I mean, we detailed it all summer long, the offers coming in. I would encourage you to go back and watch our interviews we did with each of those guys. Luke was early on. That might have been after his freshman year we talked to him. And Brooks, obviously, we talked to in March after winning the state championship, of how life has changed over the last couple months for both of them. And it's coming. Kindred will now have 3 likely FBS or Power 4 players in the last 4 years. Kindred, North Dakota. Yowza. And I know people will watch the show. Yeah, you guys are touching Horace. You're not that far away. I know. We'll break. We come back. We're going to wrap up the show because we got Bison Media Zone coming. We got to show you a really neat video from Adam Thielen's kids about finding out he's going to be a Viking. We'll do that. We'll wrap up things on a active Wednesday show right after this.